Good day. It's Cristobal Maximus here. I am at Elk Creek Baptist Church Cemetery in Elk Creek, Kentucky, which is outside of Jeffersontown, Kentucky. And today we're at a grave. There's a little vault over here we're going to walk to for a gentleman who was quite extraordinary. His name was James Morrison Heady. And Mr. Heady lived from 1829 to 1915. And he was known as the Blind Bard of Kentucky. He went blind. I haven't been able to find out exactly why, but he was blind by the time he was 15, and he went deaf by the time he reached 40 years of age. But he didn't let that stop him. He continued to live a pretty full life and put his mind to work for him to make his life work out well. He had some pretty interesting and innovative inventions he came up with to make life easier for himself and others like him. He created a diplograph machine, which is a machine that prints out Braille, and he also invented something that later Thomas Edison tried to claim some credit for, called the talking glove. It was a glove that he had printed the alphabet on, and when he needed to communicate with people, he would touch with his other fingers the letters on the glove and spell out words that people could then understand what he was saying. And he also patented inventions such as a self-closing gate that had a pull chain so he could open and close his farm gate. He invented a steam-powered embossing press for the American Printing House for the Blind, which is in Louisville, Kentucky. And he also wrote and published quite a bit of poetry and songs. So he was an interesting man. Anyway, let's walk over and check out his gravesite. This cemetery, from what I could tell walking around and looking, dates to from the late 1800s, 1860s and 70s, and is also currently in use. So it is not an abandoned cemetery by any means. I'm just in a very old section of it here. It's well maintained. Grass is cut somewhat regularly. The road that goes in front of this place used to be a major roadway, but it's been bypassed, so nowadays only locals typically come past here. This is the only vault in the entire cemetery, and this is where Mr. Heady is buried, along with his parents. It looks like they concreted over the front of this at some point in time. I don't know that it was always this way, but it's almost like a stucco. But this is the only vault here. The rest of the burials in this cemetery are typical below ground burials. There are one or two above ground vaults that are modern, but this is the only one like this from the historic part of the cemetery. We'll keep this video short and simple. I was just passing by, and this is a rather interesting little history of a man that most people have forgotten. I see a historic marker out front here all the time when I drive by, so I figured I'd stop and make a short video about it. But there you have it. There is Mr. Heady, the Blind Bard of Kentucky.